I'm not joking you. That might have been the least I've said to close a deal.
All right, Keith. I have with us right now. I let him know you're on the line.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good.
Hey, so catch me up to speed. What are you guys trying to do? I'm a real estate investor, so I'm probably not always the best fit for sellers. But Kyra is putting us together probably because an investor might be a good fit for you. Catch me up to speed where you guys are at in the process right now.
Yeah, I'm selling my house. I've seen some offers come over for very, very, very low. You can talk to my real estate agent about that. I'm not sure how low. But 250 was the goal because I owe 232, and that's what we've been trying to meet. That's just, we haven't been able to accept any offers because they've been so low.
And what city is this house in?
In Lake Bay, Washington.
Okay, cool. So 232 is what you owe. What's your interest rate on that?
I think it's 3.
Okay, so about 3%?
I think so.
Okay, so what if I just took over the payments and let you walk away from the house? Would that help?
Yeah, that could help. But actually, no, it couldn't, because the house is getting foreclosed on here eventually.
So. Oh, that's easy. So let's say I fix the foreclosure situation. Okay, so step number one. Here's what we would do. If it's a good fit for you and me, I'll paint a fake picture that doesn't exist yet. Okay.
Okay.
Step number one, I send over an agreement. You sign it, I sign it. We're under contract. Okay. Step number two, that gives me the ability to talk to your bank, and I can then go and catch up your arrears for you and get your house out of foreclosure. Okay. So that's step number two. So I've got cash out of my pocket to catch you up. And step number three is I repair your credit by just taking over the payments and make a monthly payment every single month, and you walk away from the house.
Okay, that could be good. Kyra, would that give me the opportunity to purchase a home somewhere else?
Yes, it would.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so Kyra, you want to represent me on the buy? It sounds like he's already got a listing agent.
Yes, he does. Absolutely, I can, please.
Okay, so Kyra will be my buyer's agent, and what we'll do is I'll submit an offer to you guys tomorrow, give you guys paperwork. Maybe we could get on a Zoom together, do like a video, and I can walk you through the paperwork, and your listing agent, Kyra and myself can all get on a Zoom, and I'll just walk you through all the paperwork.
That sounds perfect, yeah.
Sounds great. Let's do that.
This might have been the easiest conversation I've ever had, just want to let you know.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, and I had a nice combo before this, so I told him I was here to help him, so.
Okay. Let's do the deal, brother, and let's get your agents paid. Let's get you out of foreclosure. I'll rebuild your credit for you.
That sounds great.
All right, thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
Okay, bye.
All right, speak soon.
He just says, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I'm not joking you. That might have been the least I've said to close a deal. It happened. You know what? It's all my friends here. You guys are giving me all the good juju.
Oh my God.
That is, you've heard me on calls. You guys have all heard me on calls that are
like, bro, I'm in front of hundreds of people. Can you give me an obstacle, please?
Okay.
What the hell?
But what can we take away from this? Here's the really important information I'll give to you. A couple of things that if I'm brand new, I'll go, where did that lead come from? What are you trying to accomplish with it? How are you going to make money? Oh my gosh, you're going to catch up arrears. If I had a big whiteboard, I could break it all down for you. But here's what I would tell you. The most important part of that is I don't go and just cold call random people. That's not what we do. Nick, the strong guy right here, will you stand up real fast? Nick, bro, did you lift today?
I did.
You look like you did, dog. You look great. Keep it going, dude. What we practice in private shows up in public. I just want to let you know, dog. Good job. Okay? That's bro to bro. Okay? Okay, so you're newer.
Yes.
One thing I would tell you got to take away from this call is, have you guys ever watched me on YouTube and be like, how does this guy close so many deals?
Yep.
I'll give you a big secret. I don't waste my time on leads that don't have motivation. Massive pain, right? So when people come to me and they go, I have a lead, I'm like, I'll be the determinant, I'll be the judge of that. I knew that guy's in pain. What did we already find out in the first 10 seconds? Well, we didn't find that out immediately. What we found out is that he's getting offers lower than what he'd like. Okay, then the next tidbit he gave us was, I owe 230 and I'm trying to get 250. So Nick and everybody else in here, I'm going to teach you guys what the word equity actually means, okay? Nick, if I owe the bank $230 on my house and I sell my house for $250, how much equity do I have?
Nothing.
Trick question. Nothing. Why is that? Because all sellers, 100% of them, all sellers have to pay the selling agent and the buyer's agent. This NAR lawsuit thing is total bull. Do you agree with this?
Bro, nothing has happened.
Nothing. Has anything happened? It's the same right?
It actually made it better.
Did it really? I'm not an agent, but I just know like the seller's going to pay. So if I'm the seller, whether I'm flipping a house and I'm selling it on the market, or I'm the homeowner and I'm moving out of my house, I have to pay 3%, so 6% of my sales price. Then when we go, let's say Nick, you and I are going to do a transaction, okay? I own the house, I sell it to you. Are you just going to buy my house sight unseen with no inspections? No, you're going to hire an inspector. Okay, that inspector is going to cost $500 or $700, depending on. That inspector, let's say, is are you Carter or Cantor?
Cantor.
Okay, so we go hire you hire Cantor.
Right.
And if you paid Cantor $700 to come and inspect my house, is he going to come back with a report saying everything's good?
No.
Even if everything's good. Hey, April, have you ever done such a great job on one of your flips that you get freaking a Nick that hires an inspector and you have a fresh house and that inspector comes back with 50 pages of stuff that's wrong?
Yes.
Okay, that's his job, is to earn the $700. Okay, so he's going to come back to you and he's going to give you an inspection report. In Arizona, we call it a BINSR, a buyer's inspection notice, seller's response. Stupid thing. You guys, what do you guys call it? No, I know the inspection, but like the buyer, Nick, is now going to submit a request. You just call it a repair request? Okay, we call it a BINSR. I like BINSR better. So you're going to now send, even though we're under contract at $250, you now have 50 pages of ammunition to come back and do what?
Renegotiate.
Renegotiate. And how does that show up? Is it lower price?
Could be anything. It could be come fix things. I want it at a lower price. Everything can come up in that. It's an opportunity to blow the whole deal or to change the entire deal.
So like, right. Cancellation.
And cancellation is the leverage.
Yeah, so
Especially if there's pain, that's the big doomsday thing.
so you have this inspection report that you now get to send me, the seller, and you say there's 50 pages of stuff wrong with the house. So that $250 we originally were under contract for. I want the roof repaired, that's $20. I want the fireplace working. You guys don't have fireplaces here. I don't think. Why? Okay, so they're pretty. I like that. Okay, so Nick, you and your real estate agent, if you're a good agent, you're going to freaking stack that report back to me and you're going to go, our new offer is $232. Or fix the stuff, right? And now I'm like, well, crap, I was under contract at $250. Now I'm under contract at $232. Do you see how me selling at $252 does not mean I'm getting, or $250 doesn't mean I'm actually getting $250? Okay, so what we learn nationwide is the average inspection that happens with you and your inspector, that reduces with credits or price reduction or whatever, that takes about 4% out of my pocket of the sales price. So if I got a $500,000 house, I'm taking 20 grand just because you hired this guy for $700. You cost me $20,000. Okay? Do you see how things cost a lot of money to sell a house? Who pays for those things is always the seller. Okay? So let's figure out, what is this seller? Seller selling at $250 owes $232. How much equity does he have? Probably negative 15 grand. Okay? So we learned very quickly that he's trying to sell for $250. Now when you're new, this stuff is just hieroglyphics. You don't know. But when you're experienced, you can pick up on it. Like a lot of my friends in here that are doing a lot of deals, a lot of people in our community are like, dude, I've had these conversations for years, and you picked up on it really quick. I know the pain. You can tell the story. You can see, like, he tells me he has a deal. I immediately am like, no, you have a lead, and it came from Zillow. And he didn't tell me anything, right? We just have done so many things. Oh, dude, I was like trying to get a suntan today. Okay, so this seller has a property that he owes $230, and he has a 3% interest rate. That's pretty good. What if I went out and got a loan today? Do you know what I would have to get a loan for? What my interest rate would be?
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, like 6 to 6.5. We just hit 5.99% for like half a day, and then it went back to like 6.5. So is 3% versus a 6.5% rate really good? And also, since I don't have to go qualify for this loan, is that also pretty awesome, Conrado? Do you like that? Conrado does a lot of deals too. You guys should know him, okay? All right, so that's what we learned in like 10 seconds, right? I'm trying to sell for 250, but I owe 232, and I'm getting offers below what I owe. He didn't know he was handing me ammunition, but he did. Then my thing was like, oh, okay, well, why don't I just take over the payments? Why is that so easy for me to go directly to that? Because I already know that for 3, 4, 5 months, this guy has been getting offers that would require him to come out of pocket to sell his house. That make sense? So pain, pain, pain. So did I really have to close him, or did I just have to just literally give him the option of SubTo? And I didn't tell him what SubTo was. I want to be really clear. Like people go, I got to know everything about everything. I'm like, no, you need to know, you need to find people that have pain and provide an option to them that nobody else is showing them. And what do you think the percentage of people actually using creative finance in this industry is? Less than 1%. Okay, well think about it. We have 20,000 people in our community, 20,000 in our private community SubTo, and there's 2 million real estate agents. We have not even scratched the surface of what needs to happen in this industry for people. How is it that his agent has been listing this property for 5 months and has not brought him a creative finance offer? Meanwhile, here we are all in the room going, dude, how do you not know what SubTo is? Because he's not in our circle, right? Now, what would I do with this house, guys?
Wrap it.
I could wrap it. What does that mean, Nick?
I don't know.
Here's what I would do. So, what's your Maria, right? Okay, Maria, watch how this works. I have this house now for 230, 3% interest rate, right? Could I go to my girl Maria and say, hey, I'm going to sell this house to you for 270 at 5% interest? See how I wrapped my own terms on top of it? Would you be willing to do a 5% interest rate loan if I didn't make you qualify for it? No bank, no nothing, I'm your bank? 5% is a 1.5 lower than what she could get at a bank right now, and she wouldn't even have to go through a bank. I won't even have to ask for your credit score. You could have filed bankruptcy 2 days ago and I'll still finance. If you could show me she has income, if she can show me she can pay her payment by showing me she has income, I would sell her, finance it to her.
So what happens if she defaults?
I take that back, bro.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Lease option 2.
Or we're not, bro, Conrado, you're confusing people now. There's a lot of other options. A lot of my friends in here that are very advanced with creative finance, like we talk very high level creative finance inside of SubTo. But when I'm communicating with a brand new audience, I'm going to speak language that they understand. The more words you've never heard before, like I start throwing out lease option on top of wrap, you just barely learned what wrap is, and now I'm going to go to lease option, you go, whoa, 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 what? Right? Make sense? Okay, so she could be my buyer. How many people in here right now are not really bankable at a bank? Like banks wouldn't like you. Business owners?
Anybody who owns a business.
Anybody owns a business, even April, who's my multi-millionaire friend, banks don't like her. Okay, Nick, what do you do for a living? Sales?
So I am in sales, but I'm actually a newer realtor.
Okay, yeah, banks, you know what, it's so ironic. The most ironic thing ever is that the most unbankable people for buying houses are real estate agents.
That's true.
Okay, so, and what's then ironic above it is that none of them know anything about creative finance.
And I'm looking to buy a house.
I'm sitting here.
Here's what you do. You go to expired listings, the graveyard of all the failed real estate agents. How many expired listings pop up every single month in the United States? You guys know? 300,000. So think about that. 300,000 sellers hired 6 months ago, 300,000 realtors. 6 months later, they didn't sell those 300,000 houses, so 300,000 sellers had to fire 300,000 realtors after 6 months. That happens every 30 days. Are there opportunities for you to go and take over somebody's mortgage? Okay, so you now know where to go. And instead of calling expired listings and saying, hey, can I list your house? You go, can I take over your payments? Okay, so we could, like Jamil said, wrap it. Or, Nick, let's say you're my friend, and I don't want to be involved in the bank with you. Like I don't want to take monthly cash flow because here's what would happen. My payment with the seller that I just got for $230, let's say my payment's like $1,800. I would turn around and charge her like $2,400 or $2,500 for her payment, and I would make the difference every single month. Make sense?
Right.
I could go, look, dude, you're my friend, and I don't want money to get in between us. You know how bros got to like, I am never going to talk to your ex. There's a bro code. One of the other bro codes is I ain't going to make monthly cash flow off you, okay? I think Barney Stinson had that in his bro code. So I could just assign it to you. I could just get that contract and I could just assign it to you for 10 grand, 15 grand, $20,000. Make sense?
Right.
Okay? And now you've got a house at 3%. This is an interesting thing, Maria. What would you rather do? Would you rather take the 3% interest rate from me and give me, let's say, 20 grand for the house? You just take the contract for 20 grand and you get the 3% interest rate? Or would you rather me seller finance it at 5%, your payment's a little bit higher, but you have a lower down payment? See the trade-off there? And so you'd make the determination based on who your buyer is. And if she's like, no, I don't have the full down payment, I go, okay, well, I'll lower the down payment. I'll do X, Y, and Z. You'd pay me a little bit more money up front to take that contract off my hands. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So that's what I would do to make that money. Or I could move in that house for myself. That's how I've bought all my personal houses, is I bought them all on creative finance.
How many words do you think I took to close that deal?
100.
Okay, Jamil says it was 100 words. I want you guys to count it. I'll give something away to somebody who guesses it down in the comments. That will be this video. We'll do a part 2 where you'll see the second call I make that is also an unbelievable. The seller's throwing objections at me. I handle them really quickly. 2 of the best ways to overcome SubTo objection calls and the easiest SubTo deal I've ever done.